Hey everybody, it's Gabe Salinas here, owner and founder of Window Ninjas, aka the world's greatest window cleaner. I wanted to talk to you today and hopefully give you guys some good insight on why the 10,000 hour rule is the hidden key to success. One that most young amateurs, I call them amateurs because they haven't become pros yet, but it's the one hidden, it's the thing that young so-called professionals overlook. All right. So the reason this is coming up is because I had a conversation with one of our franchisees this past week, and he has always done a great job of building up his team. He's new to the area. He's only been up in Raleigh, I think, 2 years now. He's rocking and rolling, man. He's really made leaps and bounds. He's done a great job. He's got a great attitude. I mean, he is the epitome of a successful person. And he's got a couple of guys that work for him now, and they're out there doing these jobs. And he called me because they came back with like what he considered was a less than stellar performance. Revenue was low, took too long to get these jobs done, just the whole gamut of a bad day. So as we started diving down into it, um, it appeared on the surface that his guys made a lot of mistakes. Um, he was a little critical. He was a little upset, and he was trying to figure out, hey man, help. His question to me was, help me, help my guys. What do I need to talk to them? How do I need to talk to them? What can I do to figure this day out, man? He was, anyways. So we dove into it, and the more we dove into it, the more we figured out that he was incorrect. His guys actually did a good job. They actually came up upon a customer who was leading them as opposed to them leading the customer. As a professional, you learn how to lead a customer. A customer may call you and say, "Hey, I want my windows cleaned," or "Hey, I need my house washed," or "Hey, I need my gutters cleaned." But in all actuality, they may not need that service. Example, okay? It rains. Water's coming over the top of my gutters. Do the gutters need to be cleaned? Seems like it would. Okay. As a professional, we go out there, we take a look at the gutters. Hey, there's absolutely no debris in the gutters. Okay. So did the gutters need to be cleaned? The lady still got a problem. The problem is water's coming over the top of the gutters every time it rains. Great. Okay. Cool. Check the downspouts. Nothing's in there. Man, you look, everything's clean. Okay. Now let's dive in a little further. We look at the actual gutters, and they're actually pulled away from the fascia board just so slightly so that the water doesn't go into the gutters. It goes behind the gutter and falls on her front porch. Hence, her thinking that she needs a gutter cleaning. But in all actuality, what she needs is she needs a professional gutter installer to come back out and reinstall her gutters properly. Okay. Or everything's perfect, except she's got a pitch of a roof that's like this, and the gutters are this deep, and they need to be a lot bigger to be able to handle the volume of water and the weight of the water coming through those gutters. Otherwise, it's just gonna shoot right off and over the top of it, right? But we as professionals understand that. We didn't understand it the very first day we stepped on the job and somebody said, "Hey, put your hand in that gutter and clean it." So as we started diving into it with Blake, he was like, "Yeah, man, these guys did a good job." He said that they talked to me this and that. So he goes, "How do we keep them from having the customer lead them?" The customer was dictating A, B, C, and these guys knew that she needed X, Y, Z, and they just didn't know how to articulate that. And so understanding that story, understanding those situations, everybody has been there. Everybody's got into those kind of things. The 10,000 hour rule came up. And if you don't know what the 10,000 hour rule is, let me explain it to you. Back in the old days, when we had apprentices, so maybe you were a painter, a master painter, right? That had well over 10,000 hours of physical painting skill underneath your belt. Then you had somebody, when we had apprenticeships, then you had somebody came along that said, hey, I would like to be a painting apprentice. I would like to become a painter. I want to become a professional painter. I like painting. That's what I want to do. Okay, great. They would take this youngster and they would then train and develop them over the course of 10,000 hours. So that means every single day, if you work 8 hours a day, let me do some math for you guys. I was a little unprepared. Apologize for that. If you worked 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, it's 40 hours, right? Multiply that by 52. That's working every single week. That's 2,080 days. I mean, 2,080 hours. My apologies. Multiply that by five, and you got 10,400 hours. It takes 5 years of your life to become a master at anything because of the 10,000 hour rule. And if you go back and look at it, think about these kids that are growing up playing sports. They're playing basketball, they're playing football, they're playing lacrosse, and they start them off at like 5 years old. Okay. Now, by the time they get out of high school, right, they're now 18. Okay. So for the past 13 years, right? Math right? Yeah, 13 years. They've spent every waking moment outside of school, outside of other family commitments, doing nothing but playing lacrosse, playing on a team, practicing every day, doing the wall ball, doing all the little drills, going out there every single day, every single afternoon. And by the time they graduate high school, guess what? They have become a master at lacrosse or a master at football or a master at basketball. And those are the guys that go to the next level. And those are the guys that people like really, really, really big time schools are saying, okay, cool, this guy has been putting in the time and the effort. And think about it as far as your career goes. It's 40 hours a week, man. Are you really going to master anything at 40 hours a week? Heck no, man. Kids that are coming out of college have no skill. You went to school for 4 years, right? But you only got for four. You went for four, right? You didn't even go for five. You really didn't take 10,000 hours of schooling in that 4 years. Think about it. You didn't. Then you come out into the work field and you say, man, I want a job. I got a marketing degree. I got a business degree. I got an engineering degree. Or I've got my nursing degree. Okay. But did you really put in the 10,000 hours? You're getting close, but you haven't. So realize that when you get into the workforce, and that person is giving you that job and that career opportunity. Yeah, you have the skill and the knowledge, but you haven't gotten the mastery because you haven't earned that 10,000 hours of mastery yet. So when you're coming out of school and you're thinking that you need to be paid all this money, hey man, hey, get going to school and college, man, dude. I'm with you. Okay. That's a commitment. Great for you. You committed. We understand. We get it. Awesome. But that doesn't mean you get to dictate what your pay is going to be when you get out because you still haven't mastered your skill. You haven't spent 10,000 hours working on marketing campaigns professionally. You haven't. You're still an amateur, and that's okay. It's all right, man. We've all been there, and you will be there too. Just don't forget the 10,000 hour rule. And how I'm relating that back to Blake up in Raleigh is listen, man, your guys are fresh. They've only been doing this for a year. Yeah, they've got the skill. They can go out there and clean a gutter. They can go out there and clean a window. They can go out there and wash a house. They can do it and do it right. But they haven't mastered that skill 100% yet. And it's going to take some time and dedication and some learning to be able to become a master. I have been cleaning windows since I was 17 years old. Folks, I am 50. I can still pick up a squeegee and sling it with the best of them. It's because I've mastered it. I've got well beyond the 10,000 hours. I work 80 hours, 90 hours, 100 hours a week at my craft right now. And that craft is being a CEO of a company that I want to be nationwide. I didn't go to college to be a CEO. I didn't. However, Every single day I get up and I study and I train and I come into my office and I run the ship like I have been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years. Okay. I am going to be a master at that because I put in so much time. If you're only working 40 hours a week and I'm doubling you up and I'm doing 80, I'm going to become a master in less time. I will be a master within 2.5 years. Okay. So something you should realize and you should understand is know what the 10,000 hour rule is. When we had apprenticeships back in the day, some youngster would go under the wing of a master and he would train them for as long as it took for them to become a master. But around 10,000 hours, man, it clicks and it's a whole nother level. You have mastered your skill, you have mastered your trade. And these young guys that are working for Mr. Blake up in Raleigh, I said, Blake, man, you just got to teach these guys how to do more than just the physical skill of cleaning a window or washing off a house or cleaning out gutters or any of the other services that we do. They'll master that. They're going to get there, right? But you also got to teach them how to master the skill of actual communication with clients. You sometimes have to have those guys lead a horse to water. We get customers that call all the time. And I'm sure you guys in your field, your line of expertise, probably know what I'm talking about when I say you'll get some customers that think they know what they want, and they do, but you need to push them in a different direction for them to actually get what they want. Okay. And everybody's field of service is different. Ours is physical service with cleaning glass and washing gutters and washing down houses. But if a customer calls us and says, hey, man, my house is dirty, okay, and it needs to be washed. Okay, why would you say that? Well, it's because there's green mold and mildew growing all over it. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I got you. We'll wash your house. But if they say, well, my house is dirty. Okay, so do you want a house wash? Yeah, because I can't see out the windows. Well, maybe you do need a house wash, but I would also suggest that you need a window cleaning service as well. But let's take a look. Okay. So you have to make sure that you're giving the customer what they need in a polite way, helping them, and leading them to the path of success that's going to create success for them for what their vision in their mind is. And that's asking a lot of questions. That's talking to that customer with sincerity. That is understanding that it's more than just mastering the physical skill that you hold, but it's also mastering the field of communication. And all of those things, nothing in life, anything that you want to achieve, nothing ever will take place unless you master it with the 10,000 hour rule. If you guys understand what the 10,000 hour rule and you guys embrace it, I promise you your life's going to be better. Your insight of things is going to be completely transformed. And the 10,000 hour rule is one of the most often overlooked aspects a young amateur does not comprehend. I see it all the time. I see it every day. I see it with these kids coming out of college, and nobody has ever talked to them about the 10,000 hour rule. And it's a shame, man, because you got to know what it is. That 10,000 hour rule is the key to success. If you want to be a professional, embrace it. Okay. I understand you want to come out of college and make a bunch of money. Great. Do it. Okay. But nobody's going to pay you unless you have mastered the skill. And they're going to find out real quick whether you have that skill or not. Okay. And when you're thinking you're doing such a great job because you got all A's in college, man, that's cool, man. That's really, really cool. Good for you. But if you haven't put that knowledge into application, then it's just simply hallucination. And I don't want you guys to be hallucinating anymore. So go out there and master your skill. Count up the hours that you're putting in every single day on a specific skill. And yeah, taking those 15-minute breaks every half hour isn't getting you to mastery, man. Okay. Put your head down and work a solid 8. Okay. Don't just show up for 8. Work a solid 8. Okay. In fact, why don't you show up for 12 hours because you're only going to work 10? And you and I both know that's to be true. That is the truth. Okay. You show up for 8, you probably only worked 6. If you showed up for 4, you probably worked 1. Okay. People take too many breaks. They don't understand the skill of mastery. They definitely don't understand the 10,000 hour rule. And hey, man, the 10,000 hour rule is what is going to be the game changer in your life and those that around you that you're trying to lead and teach how to become a professional. So before you call yourself a professional, understand the 10,000 hour rule. Before you call yourself a professional, make sure you call yourself an amateur first. Okay. Just because you got a big boy job or a big girl job doesn't mean you're a professional. It means they're taking a chance on you. They're willing to show you. They're willing to teach you. They're willing to educate you. They're making a commitment to have you become a master at the skill that you have your field of knowledge in. And if you don't embrace that, and if you think that you're worth so much more money because the average that this guy's supposed to be making is 85,000, well, hey, if that guy's a pro and he's making 85 grand and you're an amateur and you ain't got the professional skills that guy has, then how much do you think you really are worth? Half? Probably, probably. Don't be insulted by it, man. Nothing to be insulted about. You just got to get your skill level up. Just like a professional athlete that plays football on Sunday afternoons. There's a reason why that guy's got that $10 million contract. And there's a reason why the guys that are in college don't have that contract. Okay. Just haven't mastered that skill yet. But when they do, they get the big contract. And if they don't, and they take days off and they slack and they're not putting their head down and they're not getting the most out of their weeks and they're not getting the most out of their hours, man, there's your difference. It's real simple, guys. Now, I appreciate you taking out time of your day, listening to me, give you some information about this 10,000 hour rule. If you like what I got to say, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, hey man, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Give me a thumbs down. I only get better and I can only master this specific skill that I'm working on right now unless I get some information from you guys. I need some feedback. Give me the feedback, the good, the bad, the ugly. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Keep shining.